short disclaimer, I'm not no crazy Giovanna player or anything like that. I just here as the messenger to give you her new patches and changes and go over them, give you my day one impressions. I'm pretty sure by the time this video comes out, a lot of people have already found some stuff out with her with her new kit and all the changes. So other than that though, let's get into the video. So we're just going to be going one by one down the list. So the first thing I want to go over is her dash. This thing, oh my goodness, you can now alter it with backward and forward inputs. So in theory, this is honestly really crazy, and you can now bait people out with her backward dash, and you can just do crazy stuff that you probably couldn't before. As before, you used to have to FD, and you still could FD, but before you used to have to FD, or you can press a button or something to stop her dashing. But now you just have to flick back or hold back on your stick or whatever controller you're using in order to stop her from continuing going forward. And now if you hold forward, the distance is increased, but it's not very drastic. So just keep that in mind. But now this whole dash with this dash canceling thing and her being able to hold back on the stick, I think this is honestly a pretty big change. Next thing we're going to talk about is her overhead, Sol Poente. I think I pronounced that correctly. So now this thing got some pretty interesting changes. I'm not sure if it's as oppressive as it used to be, but so it says here, it says after Giovanna leaps up during Sol Poente, her forward movement cannot be controlled with backward or forward inputs. The reduced startup also increases its utility as a mix-up tool. So basically, in short, you're able to now obviously control it. So if you were to stand in front of somebody and you would do Sol Poente and you held backwards, you would stay in front of them, and now the opposite effect would happen if you just flicked your stick forward and you would end up behind them. Now keep in mind, this move can still be 6P'd regardless of the direction. I'm not 100% sure if that's with every character. You might, depending if some characters 6Ps are really bad. I use Kai in this video, so his 6P can definitely still hit you regardless if you go backwards or forwards, regardless that the reduced startup is now that there's reduced startups. So I would keep that in mind. So don't just go out there throwing this move in raw neutral, but it is more unreactable. The biggest thing I'd say about this whole change with her Sol Poente, if you go down here, is that the opponent can now recover after landing. So if you see here in this footage that the opponent is actually recovering after I hit the Sol Poente, which is honestly a pretty big deal, because now you can't go for them, if I'm corrective on this term, OTG, which is I believe hitting the opponent after they're knocked down already. I could be wrong about this, but you can now no longer go for those crazy setups regardless of the direction you're going. But the opponent now bounces higher, so this might be a better combo tool. I kind of doubt it, but if you hit them in the air, I'm sure this might be some crazy combo tool that's kind of being slept on right now. Obviously, like I said, when this video gets uploaded, I'm pretty sure people have already found some crazy stuff with Giovanna, but as of now, I haven't seen anything. So if anyone in the comments has found anything, leave your combo recipes or whatever you want in the comments below, and definitely this would help out the overhead, because right now it's not looking too great in my opinion. They also expand the lower hitbox and hurtbox, so I think if you use this in the air, you might win most interactions. This is probably false though, so like I said, day one, we're gonna have to find some stuff out. Alright, it's time to go over her normals. I'm pretty sure some of you have been waiting for this moment, some of you haven't, I'm not sure, but for me, I was pretty excited when I saw this change, and now all of her normal moves and command normals do chip damage when she's over 50% tension. So to put in perspective, if we look at this footage here as I'm playing, testing this in training mode, you can go get off a decent amount of chip damage. It doesn't look like a lot, but if you put in perspective of how many times she can pressure you, how plus she is on most of her moves, how she can mix you up, how she's a strike throw character, this chip damage will add up, and you will be pressured and panicked and screwed, especially when you're at low HP. It's almost as if she's just like a Gold Lewis minigun, just constantly just ramming you now, and it's pretty crazy to put in perspective. Her other normals like crouching K got some decreased knockback, and they expanded the upper hitbox, meaning I'm pretty sure that's a good thing, but the hurtbox also got expanded, so you can probably be punished for just throwing this out. And her fast landing S decreased its horizontal blowback distance, meaning it's not gonna send them horizontal, like as I said, decreased horizontal blowback distance. Her sweep, it got increased recovery, and it no longer hits the opponents when more than a set distance apart. Her jumping P, K, S, and heavy slash and jumping D. These got some pretty interesting changes. So her jumping P now launches opponents higher. Most of her things launches opponent higher, so this can probably set up for some juggle situations. Her jumping S, they reduce the upper hurt box. This one, I'm not sure. I think a decent amount of people would use this in aerial combos. Since they reduce the upper hurt box though, I don't think this really matters too much, because if you're this is mainly just a combo tool. So I don't think anyone's just throwing this jumping S out neutral. Maybe they are. But her heavy slash is now launches opponent lower. So at first I was kind of iffy about this change, but doing some of her aerial combos like I used to, I don't see too big of a difference. And like I said, with the K and the P launching opponent higher, P actually has a use now in combos. And now her ground throw also got nerfed. Just throw that out there. So reduced low range, but to be honest, it's not too crazy to worry. You don't gotta really worry about this change too much, because she has to be straight up in your face anyways. With the new dash change, she's gonna just be schmooving all over the stage, and you're gonna have to worry about where she's going. And now with her ground throw being reduced throw range, glad for most people. I honestly thought this throw was crazy. I'm sure other people thought it was too, but it's not gonna really matter because she's gonna be straight up in your face. So either way, this throw range wasn't as crazy as it seems. Now finally, the last two things I want to go over are her Sepultura and her Vatiana. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. I could be wrong. But her Vatiana is her overdrive, which is her super. So they increased the attack startup on this move. So just very self-explanatory. I don't think this could be used as a reversal super anymore. I didn't really use it as one to begin with, but I know it was a decent one to use. But now that they increased the attack startup, they basically nerfed it by making it come out slower. This shouldn't really affect most of her combos though. And now her Sepultura, they decreased the damage on it and they reduced lower hitbox and hurtbox. So I'm pretty sure this can be low profile now. I could be wrong. I didn't test this out just yet. But the lower hitbox and the damage on this is pretty much decreased. Well, I think my final verdict on this character as of now is I don't really have a final verdict. This is still day one. We still got to figure out stuff with her. Some of her changes I kind of wish that didn't happen. I don't really agree with the overhead change, but honestly, maybe it's for the better. Maybe it might be a better combo tool. But now I kind of miss pre-patch Geo just a little bit, but this new Geo I can take some time getting used to. So if I don't get used to it, well then crap, that sucks. But in terms of overall though, I don't really have a final verdict on this character as of now. So day one, people are gonna figure out stuff with her, and I think that just covers everything so far in this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any tips for Giovanna or just anything in general relating to Giovanna, just leave them down in the comments below. If you get anything you guys found, you guys can totally link it down, or just talk about it and just have a nice conversation down there in the comments. But and I also forgot to mention that I will be making a gameplay video on her, going over seeing how she does in actual games. And I will be making more Strive content and just fighting game content altogether. I really love fighting games, and I hope you guys do too. So anyways though, it's final goodbye for real this time. So I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.